Right, everybody, welcome back to What the Devil. We're back with episode 20, and last week we talked about transfers. This week we're going to talk about transfers. So, we're in this little limbo bit at the moment where, Euro 2024 hasn't quite started yet. Yeah. Transfer window hasn't quite opened yet. Ten Hag, as of recording right now, still hasn't been sacked, but I'm slightly worried it's going to happen between now and 6 p.m. when this podcast comes out. So, little disclaimer in case he is.
Yep.
But United are seeming to start getting transfer window rolling a little bit. There have been reports that we've put in a bid for Neves. Don't know how João Neves, the little Benfica
Portuguese
kid, who was apparently sick. Don't know anything
about him.
He
is a wicked player.
And then that'll get rejected. And then we apparently put in a 51 million bid for Leny Yoro. Yeah. Big, tall, 18-year-old, lanky centre-back. Fantastic on the ball. And I would pick him as potentially an ideal sign-in for this summer. So, 100%. Let's say, we're Man United, because we are Man United.
Come on.
What is our ideal summer? We're looking at signing two centre-backs, according to reports. David Ornstein, the GOAT, in my personal opinion. Yeah. Two centre-backs, midfielder, striker. So, our spine we want to fix, which we need. It very much needs fixing. Yeah. And then there's apparently saying we might go for another left-back, considering all the injuries we've had. We might go for another right-winger, because we only have one right-winger who I would want to keep at the club. Which is Ahmad, by the way, just for clarification. Just for clarification.
Not Anthony.
But so this podcast, I want to spend the first bit talking about, what's our ideal signings. So we're going to start with centre-backs. We want a right-footed and left-footed centre-back. You think Leny Yoro, the one?
We spoke about this just before the show started. He is a wicked, wicked player. In the same way we talk about Kobe being so mature beyond his age, that is Yoro as well. He is so good on the ball. He's physical enough, he's strong enough, he's tall enough. I reckon he's quick enough as well. He is, like we said before as well, he's very much like Rafael Varane when he first burst.
He is, isn't he? He is.
Very much in the same build. It would be the perfect player to bring in, especially because he's 18 years old. He could come and be at United for 15 years. The problem with Yoro is he is that good, and so there is going to be that much competition. Yeah. And I've heard Real Madrid are interested. If Real Madrid come knocking, it's going to be hard.
So this is the thing. Obviously, United District, we know, or we can see everything that's going on. What's the reports? What's said in Spain? Because it's all I dedicate my entire life to at the moment is knowing exactly what's happening at any given moment in the news. And what it is with Yoro is Real Madrid see him as a 2024 summer signing, but they're trying to what the latest reports seem to say is they're trying to lowball Lille. So Lille are asking for, I think, around about what United have reportedly bid, which is around 51 million pounds, about 60 million euros. Right, a lot of money. Yeah. For someone of his quality, fares. But Real Madrid are trying to lowball them. They're bidding, or they're saying 25, 30 million, and they're just basically in his ear going, "Don't worry, we'll get it done. We'll get it done." But they're trying to, they've just given Kylian Mbappe 85 million signing bonus.
Yeah. As you do.
85 million quid in your bank account.
Considering they got him for free, didn't they? Yeah, they got him for free. Yeah. So it's like 85 mil for Kylian.
I just think about it.
The amount of money.
85 million
I know. But the amount of money he's going to bring in for them anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't even matter. But it really doesn't matter. But
so that's basically the situation at the moment. I think Liverpool are also keen on him. I mean, who wouldn't be? Yeah. The guy's been fantastic. So just for those who may not be as familiar with Yoro, right-sided centre-back, right-footed, but fantastic with his feet. He's, I believe, 6'4", 6'5", but he looks about 7 foot tall.
Yeah. It's also because he's got a skinny build
now. He's really skinny build, really tall, really athletic. Yeah. Only 18 years old, but, you can't tell. Same, as you said, same with Kobe. You can't tell he's 18. No. If you were to... them videos where they just, player turns into a silhouette?
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where if you just looked at him as a silhouette, you'd be like, cold player.
Yeah.
But the issue with a right-sided centre-back, Varane's gone, Maguire and Lindelof, no one knows what's happening this summer. One of them will probably leave. Yeah. Johnny Evans, United released in a statement recently saying that they're in talks with Evans for a new contract. And I wouldn't be against him staying.
I would 100% keep him about.
And we've also got Willy Camboala, another right-footed centre, which means left-footed centre-backs is just Alessandro Martinez. So the one thing I have a bit of an issue with, let's say, going for Yoro now, it might just be because we have to, is we need another left-footed centre-back. We need another left-footed centre-back at United ASAP. I think that's, for me, the priority position we need to do right now is make sure we get a good quality left-footed centre-back to exchange with Martinez or compete with Martinez.
The thing is with that though, I hear what you're saying, especially after Leach's injury record this season. I get where you're coming from. But if you go, right, what is our starting 11 right now? Okay, let's try improve our starting 11 right now. Leacher is in that starting 11 right now.
Yeah, true.
When fit, he's in that starting 11. The problem we have right now is that right centre-back, I don't know who's playing there. Because like you say, is Lindelof going? Might be going, but either way, he's not the starting right centre-back. Harry Maguire isn't going to be that guy, shouldn't be that guy for the development of the team. He can do it in moments, don't get me wrong. There's so many games of the season, you can put Maguire there and he can do a job, but should he be your guy to go to? We brought Varane in to replace Maguire, so Maguire should be that guy. I think right-sided centre-back actually might be the priority defensive position that you'd go for. And the thing is, like we've just spoken about, I do love Euro. I think he's a real big talent, 18 years old. He's got a long career ahead of him. But I just think that Todibo is probably the tap-in that we go for, because obviously there's the links with Nice and Ineos, so that makes the business side of it easier to happen. You're going to get him cheaper. And the thing is, he's maybe a little bit more ready to go 50 games a season than what Euro is right now. So I think Euro is the perfect signing in my eyes for the centre-back role. But I think Todibo is the deal you go for, because that is what makes sense. Then there's the Branthwaite ones as well. And Jared Branthwaite from Everton, he looks a real talent as well. I really like him as well. And I think actually he's a bit more physical he suits the Premier League better in that sense maybe than Euro right now. Keeping in mind Euro's 18 still, he's got a lot of development to go. Branthwaite is another player I would really love us to go for. Again, it's one of those where you go, perfect transfer window, you bring in Branthwaite and Euro. It's not going to happen. Second to that is Branthwaite and Todibo. But is that even going to happen? Because do we really even have the money to go, right, here's 35-ish mil, maybe something around that region for Todibo. But Everton are probably going to want, what, 60?
75 million.
70, yeah, for Branthwaite. So can you go and spend 100 mil on two centre-backs? You probably can't.
We can't this summer.
No,
this is something I mentioned last week on the pod about Branthwaite is I am not oversold on spending 75 million on Branthwaite. So the reports say that Everton are putting him in the same category as the Fofana transfer, Gvardiol, Maguire. So, in that region. I in my own mind can't justify spending 75 million on Branthwaite. And when you've got someone like Todibo, I've completely forgot about Todibo as well until you mentioned him. But Todibo I really like. I'm really surprised that he wasn't called up to the France squad.
Good point.
Considering, he's been solid for Nice and he's now their club captain at 24, which is,
That's another thing.
The more I think about it now, you've got Leacher and Todibo back
That's
two.
solid.
You've got a person who's already been a club captain at a club, Leacher, who's he's Leacher. I'm a massive Leacher fanboy. We all are.
Love him, absolutely love him.
That's a commanding back two. That's a nice back two as well. I like that.
And you put Dalot next to them as well, who's obviously we know how good he's been last season, and he brings a certain level of athleticism and pace, and he's strong as well. So that's quite a solid three. Then there's the left back position. Yeah,
left back is
funny one.
Yeah,
it's a real funny one.
Luke Shaw, right? I don't want to say it.
No, say it. You say it. You gotta say it.
I don't want to say it, but come on. It's getting to the point now where I know how good that bloke is at footy. But
he's alright.
He's so good. And there's a reason England's taken him even though he's injured. And there's a reason the same thing happened last Euros where Southgate, or was it last World Cup, where Southgate took him, he was injured. And he could take him to the competition, and he wasn't fit until the third game of the competition. But then he came in, and he was sick, and he played Ben Chilwell. He's a Luke Shaw. If you just take Luke Shaw, take away his hamstrings, which have been burnt out over the last 6 years, one of the best left backs in the world. One of the best left backs in the world. And I've said this before, but at the same time, I'm just like, is it worth having one of the best left backs in the world for 30 games? He's had 2-3 month injuries this season. And like, I can really see why United are looking at a left back.
Thing is,
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one, and the situation you've got right now is that we've got 2 left backs who are barely fit the whole of the last season. But you can't go and sign 2 left backs. We're just not going to be able to do that. You can't sell the 2 left backs. You're not going to sell Malacia now anyway, because when he hasn't played for a year, no one's going to come and sign him. So the issue you've got is, if you bring in another left back, you've got 3 senior left backs. It's not really the situation you want to be, especially with Harry Amas coming through as well. He looks like a real talent, and you don't really want to block off a debut or a chance that he might get. So you don't want 3 senior left backs. You're going to have to get rid of one. The only option I think we have in terms of getting rid of one is a Malacia loan. I think that could be viable, and it's harsh because I think in his first season he actually showed a lot of promise, not to be an elite level left back, but to be a real solid second option. But the injuries have killed him. And so
we don't know that though. He's not played the whole season. He could come back in next summer. Like Kobe was out for
okay, fine.
It's like 5-6 months. He came back. He was fine.
I agree, but then what do you do? Because because we know United want to bring in a new left back, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to get rid of Luke Shaw, I don't think.
Yeah.
Are you then going to have 3 senior left backs?
It is
harsh.
Is
there any point?
It's harsh because it's also, it kind of feels like it's not Malacia's fault if he's been injured for a whole year. Because what it seems like is obviously he had this knee problem and stuff didn't go right, and like all the cartilage that they needed to scrape off the bone of. I don't know much about like the human skeletal system. Like, I don't blame you. Biology I wasn't a big fan of during my GCSEs or that. Yeah. But it seems like it's not really been down to him.
No, of course not.
And I feel like a loan is harsh. I feel like left back is probably, out of all the positions that has been mentioned, left back has been mentioned, I think is the least likely we will go for. That's like if we have a bit of extra cash to sign and it's feasible and it's easy to do, we'll just like do a deal. But I feel like somewhere like central midfield, is where we'll move on to now, is a much more pressing area. So Casemiro I'm so convinced he's off to Saudi. And as much as, thank you so much Casemiro for the 2 years. Thank you for the goal in the Carabao Cup final last season. I'm sad, thank you for filling in at centre-back, despite the fact that we were completely horrid when you were filling in at centre-back in the last 3 months.
I am really sad about the Casemiro situation. I'm really, really sad about it. I loved him the first season. I loved him.
So I was never completely... When we signed Casemiro, I was
horrible deal.
Sick. We signed some sick midfielder. But I was always a bit like, why? I get why we signed a midfielder, but why have we picked Casemiro? And why have we given him a 5-year deal? Why have we spent 60 million quid on him? And then when he came on, when he started playing, like he was kind of coming on in games and he was like doing okay, and I was a bit like, what's happening? Blah, blah, blah. And then obviously he kind of came into it, he did it, and he was, but then he became a really clutch player for us, scoring goals. But part of me in the back of my mind has always been like, why is this bloke here compared to all the other people we could get?
Yeah, see, the deal made no sense. And I agree with you on that. Like, why have we brought in someone who is past his peak clearly? We've paid a price for someone who's in their peak, and we've given him a 5-year deal. The deal
outrageous
made no sense. But what I mean in terms of I'm really sad about it is that he was in his peak, he was a fantastic DM, one of the best I think we've seen in this generation. And he was really good for us in the first season. So to see the downfall this season, that's what I mean when I say sad. To see what happened at Palace, to see Elise just drop him like that, to see him lunging into every challenge and just being 5 yards off the player, that's what I mean by it's sad. But yes, you're right. 40 mil, 30 mil, and he's off to Saudi. It's going to happen.
So then the question comes of, who is the ideal transfer?
Yeah.
I can't think of many... realistically, you've got to get someone who will play with Kobbie Mainoo, because Kobbie Mainoo will be starting.
You build a team around
Kobbie. I hope, for a good reason, that Kobbie Mainoo doesn't start more than 40 games next season.
I hear that, but you still build it around him.
You still build it around him. You build it around who he will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If that's, let's say in 2-3 years' time.
Exactly.
Because let's say when Mainoo's 21, 22, obviously, if he continues on this trajectory, he's then a 22-year-old player who's like, he's that guy. Well, he's that guy at the moment.
Yeah.
And he'll be that guy for England, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like there's not many people out there at the moment who you go, he would be sick. One I can think of is... This is kind of jumping on the hype a little bit, but Adam Wharton from Palace, who has been unreal. He was sick against us.
Yeah.
And he, I feel like, is that kind of style of player. And when we were talking last week, when Marcel was on here, he said someone like Kante, not like literally Kante, but someone like what profile. Kante was, that profile type of player. But I can't, like, we're not linked to a lot of centre mids at the moment. We're linked to João Neves, but I'm not 100%. Admittedly, I don't know too much about him, but I'm not 100% sold that player of his build.
That's what I was going to say.
Is who you're gonna be partnering with Kobbie Mainoo in midfield. Maybe someone like him would work if you have Todibo and Leach at the back and they're very like commanding centre backs who can play the ball, and then you're allowed maybe a bit more freedom to have midfielders like that. Like realistically, we need Rodri, but but who?
This is the thing. So if you want to play a single pivot, if you want to get a single pivot number 6, there aren't many out there. I'm not going to lie to you. There is not many out there who are good enough off the ball, physical enough off the ball to be able to break play down and get the ball back for your team, and then also be that guy to pick up the ball from your defence and play the passes through the thirds. There are not many players out there who can do that. Neves can do the on-the-ball work. I can't tell you if he can do the off-the-ball work. And a midfield 3 of Kobbie, Neves and Bruno isn't physical enough for me in the Premier League.
That is one thing that I think we need a brute.
Yeah. And see, this is where, the first time I actually came on with Flex, we spoke about Onana, and I was very much on the side of, I'm not really feeling it, I don't really want Onana. And then I started warming to the idea because I started looking at what else is out there, and I thought, well, you know what? There aren't too many options, so actually maybe Onana is your best option. And maybe that, because let's say, because Neves, I think I would still go for Neves, even though the physicality problem I just mentioned.
Yeah.
I would still say he's top because of the potential that he has. But you're probably not going to be able to get him because of the money. So then I go, right, Onana. But the thing is with Onana is, although I think he might be the best option, I don't know if I want him for the price Everton want. 50 mil more maybe? I don't know if I want him for that much. I don't. So then I would look at someone else. I would maybe go to Fofana at Monaco.
Okay, that's a good shout. Yeah, he said 2 days ago that basically he's available for transfer.
Oh, fair.
I think he said, I can't remember the exact words of what he said, but he said something along the lines of like, yeah, I've spoken to the club. We have an agreement in place. If I stay, I stay. But it's kind of like, that sounds like but I can go.
Yeah.
I'm happy to stay. However,
I'm open to offers.
You know, putting a.
That's I'm open to work on LinkedIn. That's what
you know the profile photo where you've got like the big thing that says open. Yeah,
exactly.
I like that. That's a good analogy.
That's what he's done.
One name I'm going to put forward to you is João Paulinho.
Yeah,
as well.
Fair.
That I really like him, and obviously he was linked to Bayern heavily, and he basically almost was going to Bayern last summer. Didn't work out. Stayed in the Prem. I think he's really good because I can't know how many years he's got in his contract or if he's out of contract or anything like that. But I haven't looked at it. But I do like him. He's got Premier League. It's the classic Premier League experience. Yeah. He's a hard-working, physical, kind of sit in front of your back four
and he can get
type
the ball
player. He's like decent technically.
Yeah.
I think if we're looking at value for money, assuming that he's cheap, I can't really say value for money because I don't know how much because he's going to cost. Yeah. But he's an option that I quite like.
Yeah. No. I get that. The only thing I would say with that is it's again going back to your Nana problem, which is how much is Fulham going to want for him? They might want to pin.
I'm going to check,
So that's one thing I'll say about Paulinho while you check that. Another thing I was thinking about as well, right? So a lot of the problems we had this season under Erik ten Hag is that he kept persisting on the single pivot. With Casemiro, it didn't really work. With Amrabat, it didn't really work. Then he said, right, okay, we're going to go with basically Kobbie drops in a bit and you've got him and Amrabat, and that was kind of the system towards the end of the season. It was Amrabat and Kobbie, and that worked. I do wonder going forward now, if Ten Hag is to stay in, like we said at the beginning of the show, we don't know what's going to happen. We're probably going to find out by the end of this week, if not by the end of today, potentially, if Erik ten Hag stays. But if it is Erik ten Hag, is he going to try stick to having a single pivot, or is he going to go to the double? Because the single didn't work. And this is where I go back to, there aren't many options out there, because when you think about a single pivot, the perfect players to kind of do that role at the moment are your Declan Rice, are your Rodris. There aren't many of those out there. So what do we go for?
Amrabat?
I like that.
Do you like it?
I like that because I don't know exactly the structure of the deal, but we paid quite a heavy loan fee, and we paid that heavy loan fee because we were under the impression that after the loan fee, we would then buy him out, and it would be slightly less than what his price would be if we bought him straight away.
I think it was kind of like Fiorentina wanted like 25, 30 mil, and we were like, okay, we'll pay 8 million, 8.5 million loan fee, 20 million-ish buy fee, so it'll end up being about 28 million.
So if we've already paid the 8, I know, I don't know if it is 20.
It's just above 20, I believe.
Okay, that is still a fair bit then.
Yeah.
That is still
this is the thing, right? Like, if you look at it, the deal from the surface, and you go, what, we paid 8.5 million loan fee for a bloke who was, for 80% of the season, injured or crap, or playing a left back. Which, you know, to be fair to him, he's been stiffed a little bit.
Yeah,
and he was all right at left back.
Yeah.
And then it's the last like 3-4 games where you're suddenly like, hold on, wait, so this guy isn't actually just living off that one clip. Because for so much of the season, that's the only clip I ever saw of him play, was that one clip where he was catching up with Mbappe. And I was kind of just like, is he actually kind of just living off this clip? Obviously he's not, because scouts do their work, they watch the game, blah, blah, blah. But like, and then when it was the game against Arsenal, I was like, you know what, this guy's actually, he's decent. But I was still kind of, and I don't know if I was on edge watching him a little bit just because of what he was before, or just because, like, I would say 20 million for him is decent if we hadn't already paid 8.5. Someone before.
That's fair. That's fair. You know what? That is one huge criticism that I do have of Ten Hag this season. The season just gone, is that when you saw that Casemiro just wasn't the same player, why didn't you just give Amrabat a few more chances in his natural position? Yeah. We didn't see enough of Amrabat. And look, maybe towards the end of the season, he's gone, you know, I have a chance to stay at Man United. I really need to show up. And maybe that's where performance has improved. I also think the system changed, and the system helped him, because
when we were tighter,
he was, him and Casemiro, no matter who it was, they had to cover way too much space at the beginning of the season and throughout the majority of the season. And that's why it didn't work. So maybe the structure changing did help him a lot, and maybe if it was Casemiro playing that role and Casemiro wasn't at centre-back for those last few games, we would have looked at Casemiro and thought, oh, Casemiro's played well the last few games. So maybe it's not about the personnel, but actually the structure. But I don't know what we do with Amrabat. I don't know. Yeah. I do think the club won't sign him, though. I think that's the way it's
if we're saying, in an ideal transfer window, which midfielder's coming in? So just for context on Palhinha, his current contract expires in 2028, but the club have an option for a further year. He is 28, and his transfer market value him. He's almost hit his peak of value, about 45, 50 mil. So we've got Palhinha and Onana will probably cost similar amounts, let's say. And I know the scouts. This is what we said ages ago. The scouts, as far as I'm aware, Onana is still very much a favourite for the scouts at United. But then the scouts might change because of Ineos. Blah, blah, blah. We've got Amrabat for 20 mil. Those who fly, let's say 50, 55 mil. João Neves will probably cost about 60, 65 million.
I think more.
His release clause is 85.
Oh, is it? Okay, fair. That's right.
Whether a transfer fee hits that height, we don't know. United might end up just sending a release clause, but you know, I hope we don't. I hope we're better run than that these days, Ineos. Yeah. So okay, let's say out of the names we've mentioned, you know, who actually is the ideal one? Because I'd go for Palhinha.
I would go.
No, I lie. I wouldn't. He's 28.
Yeah, that's one thing as well.
Oh, this is horrible.
I would go Neves. I know.
You know, I'd go Neves and then maybe keep Amrabat. If Casemiro is leaving. If Casemiro is leaving, we can't, because I was all going on the assumption that Scott McTominay is also going.
Oh, are you?
So because I'm thinking he's a sellable asset.
You know what it is with McTominay though? For me, McTominay, when we're talking about 6s and 8s, McTominay is not even in the discussion for me.
Even if I would just think to someone that has some sort of vague strength.
But even if you keep McTominay, I hate starting him at 8 or 6. He's a 10.
Same, yeah.
He's a 10.
Which is weird to think.
Which is weird, I know, but he is a 10.
He doesn't have a position, man. He's
he's a bit of an odd player. You know what?
He's like a 9.5, like a 7.5 if you were going between 8 and 10.
Yeah, in the 4-4-2 time, he might have done well as like a second striker. But that's a whole other discussion. But I would go Neves. Onana's a good option. I like Fofana.
Okay, so we'll say ideal transfer window. If we're thinking Ineos and their long-term thing with Vlaar, we're saying Neves.
Yes.
And then maybe some more magic comes from the academy. I don't know.
You've
got Toby Collier, who's decent. We never know. It's the whole 10-hole conversation thing.
Yeah,
anyway, right. Okay, striker. I've got Sesko on the screen.
Yeah.
Purely because I really like him.
He's a good player.
I don't think he's like the odds of him going to United isn't great, and he's been linked with Arsenal. He's been linked with Liverpool. But we have been scouting him for a long time. I remember we were linked with him when he was at Salzburg, and he went to Leipzig in the end because Red Bull.
Even before we got Højlund, we were.
Yeah. We were looking at it. It was the same summer. It was the same summer.
Exactly.
But we need a striker desperately.
Yeah.
My ideal transfer is Ollie Watkins. I said this last week. He is my ideal transfer. He's 27, Premier League experience. I'm going Watkins over Tony because Tony, in the best will of the world, looks like a bit of an unsavoury character.
Troublemaker.
Yeah, to put it professionally.
Yeah.
Because we like to keep this podcast PG when we can.
Of course.
And Ollie Watkins is just like my ideal guy, but he is 75, 80 million realistically. Villa are now in the Champions League. Pull him away from that. Let's go. Come play Europa League, Ollie. You're hitting your peak. Come play in the Europa League for a team that will do top 4 at most that you've already done with Villa. But I'm just saying, like, if I'm throwing kitchen sink and the money at anything, I'm throwing it at Ollie Watkins.
The point you just made, was a good point as well, because that is a problem we have right now, is that we're not the most attractive club to go to right now. We are in the Europa League, which, to be fair, it could have been worse. We could have been in nothing. But also just the way the things are at the club right now, it's a bit of a mess. We're not that attractive. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion. Ollie Watkins, I agree with you. I agree because, firstly, everything that you've just mentioned, quality striker, Premier League proven. He scored 19 goals in the Premier League this season without taking a single penalty.
He's cold, man. He's cold.
I don't know why he doesn't take penalties, though.
Who takes penalties for Villa?
Douglas Luiz.
He might just be good.
I would, but
in the same way,
I just think if you're Ollie Watkins, you're Aston Villa's main number 9, you're their goal scorer, I would like to see you pick up the ball and be like, nah, penalties are mine. Move aside, please.
This is the thing though, right? I think that's actually a testament to his character. More that he's going, the manager's gone, Douglas Luiz is a fantastic penalty taker, Ollie Watkins, he's taking pens, and Watkins gone, for the team.
But see, I don't think that is the case.
I don't think so?
No. Because Ollie Watkins did used to take them. He came off them, and I think, it might have been Unai Emery's decision. I don't know. I don't know if it was before him or after him. But regardless, I feel like you should really push on to try and get the penalties. You're the main goal scorer of the team. Maybe. You should try. If you're on 19 goals now, you could compete for the Golden Boot. With Haaland got 27, all right, still a long way away, 8 goals. But if you get 5 penalties a season and then knock about a few more, you're up there for Golden Boot. But anyway, Ollie Watkins, I agree with you. I agree as well for another reason, which is he's 27, so he's not gonna properly compete with Rasmus Højlund. We don't, because that's the thing with Sesko. I really like him, but he's, how old is he? 21,
he's gonna 22? Be 22, I think.
22, so basically the same age as Højlund. I don't really want another striker to come in and throw Højlund off his 21. Game. 21, there you go, same age.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him for that reason. Same reason why as well, I wouldn't want someone like Alexander Isak, because I love Isak. I actually think he's got the potential to be way better than what Ollie Watkins will ever be, in my opinion. He's really, really good.
Well, Ollie Watkins is as good as I think he's right now as good as he will be.
Yeah, he's never going to get better.
But I think if you sign Ollie Watkins, you're guaranteed to have that player. I don't think there's going to be any dips or anything because it seems pretty seamless if he comes in.
Yeah. So Isak, I would love, but like I say, I don't think it would happen. Whoever we sign, it's a weird one with who we bring in as a striker because can we really have 2 strikers who both want to be starting week in, week out? For team chemistry purposes, maybe it's good competition, to be fair.
Honestly, I think it's good competition.
Yeah.
When we had the 1999 squad, you had Sheringham, you had Solskjaer, you had York, you had Cole.
2 strikers back in the day, a little bit different in terms of
if that's 2-striker system, you've got 4 strikers that want to
so it's still one for you.
Solskjaer, he had the role of the sub suspension, he played that fantastically.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that he didn't want to start every game. Like I think back in when he was on the Overlap podcast, he was like, "No, I did want to be starting." Like everyone wants to start for Man United.
He did start on the right wing a few times.
David
true. Beckham got dropped.
But I feel like if strikers have an issue with multiple quality strikers playing, that's a red flag. Honestly, I think so. Unless it's a case of like what happened with Martial when he was starting, and then he brought in Zlatan to kind of overtake him.
That killed him.
That I think is a bit different.
And Lukaku, that killed him.
That as I think is a bit different because that wasn't and Lukaku's that was Jose Mourinho bringing in strikers specifically to replace Martial. He didn't trust it.
He didn't see Martial as a striker. He saw
exactly.
him as a winger.
But like that, I think it's a different situation to let's say we bring in Ollie Watkins and then another striker. I don't know. We bring in some like Weghorst-esque player who like all want to be starting, but realistically, it's just like an extra dude.
Yeah.
I think if a striker then goes like huffs and puffs about not playing if someone else is playing, like throws a pull, apparently like get a grip. But like, I feel like there shouldn't, if there is an issue with that, that's on them, and there shouldn't. The right striker like Højlund, I think will be, let's say he gets knocked out. Like he's not been playing recently. He's coming on, he scored 2 goals. And when he came on in the FA Cup final, there was no sort of huff and puff. He then won the ball right in the dying moments to stop City having another attack, and that blew the whistle. We won the free kick in the game. Like I love Højlund. I think he is like, he's a beacon of hope in the team.
Yes. And mate, the celebration pictures after the FA Cup
I
final.
love that bloke.
Well, bro,
I love that guy.
I saw one picture carousel from on the pitch to in the dressing room to on the team coach to at the party. In every single one of those pictures, he had the same bottle in his hand in every single picture from the pitch to the party. It was in his hand. He looks lit. He's what I want United to be. He's like those 4: Ahmad, Garnacho, Kobbie, and Højlund. Just that picture,
coldest picture around.
Yeah.
But okay, so if we're saying strikers, we're saying Ollie Watkins, ideal transfer window.
Yes. Sorry, before we move on, wild card, Mehdi Taremi from Porto. He is going to Inter Milan, but I always said even from a few years ago we should have brought him in. He's 29 now. He's always consistently scored goals in the Champions League and always consistently scored goals in the Portuguese league. Wild card, I know, but Mehdi Taremi, he's a very good player.
That's the kind of vibe that would be decent for the team,
Yeah, but that's it's not going to happen. He's going to Inter Milan.
Just wild
but a few years ago, I reckon we should have gone.
And final one, we're going to go with right winger. So this is on the assumption. So there were reports about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, that United weren't actively trying to sell Anthony, but like they would be open to it, and that is the correct decision. Like you shouldn't be trying to push Anthony out, despite how almost universally accepted it is that he's dead.
He's terrible.
Dead baller. But and let's say United get like 30 mil or something for him, like
if we're lucky,
whatever, yeah.
If we're lucky.
But or let's say he goes on loan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who comes in? Because my ideal transfer for this is Elise, but I'm actually going to say take Elise out of the conversation for this one because that one is so obvious.
Yeah.
But there's also it's like the last few days suggests that he might be going Chelsea. Like he almost went there before. Yeah. It's pretty much agreed.
They're pushing for him
Chelsea academy. There's reports he's a United fan, but we don't know how accurate they actually are. So let's take Elise out of the conversation. Right winger, who's there?
I really don't know, but before you tell me who you'd like, I've got a theory as well, which is that is it potentially better if we don't bring in a right winger?
In what way?
Let Garnacho and Ahmad thrive. I don't know, because thing is, right, I know what a lot of the Man United fans' perspective on Marcus Rashford is, which is that he should be dropped. I'm still of the opinion that a firing Rashford is one of the best wingers in the game. You don't score 30 goals last season and just completely fall off. Like Onana said this as well, where he was basically like, you don't go from being the best goalkeeper in the Champions League to being a terrible goalkeeper. I have that opinion of Marcus Rashford. I still think that left wing spot should be his and he should nail it down. And I think a summer off, where he's not been at the Euros, he's going to come back with something on his mind.
With fire.
With fire.
He does, because he does.
Yeah, and he's done this before.
He's proved it.
And he's done this before. So I am still of the opinion that Marcus Rashford will play on the left wing. That's my personal opinion. I actually also think Ethan Williams...
Wheatley.
No, not Wheatley. Wheatley's up top. Ethan Williams, I'm pretty sure it is. Left winger.
Yeah.
Done some good stuff in the other under 18s this year. I also think he's another one of those where maybe you give him his debut this season, maybe early cup competitions, you give him a chance, something like that. So if that is the case where Rashford is on the left, I think you let Garnacho and Ahmad, the two of them, between them, play it out for right wing. And I think that could be better than bringing in an expensive right winger, even if it is Elise. Even if it is.
I can see that, but I don't.
But if it's not Elise,
short term, to be fair, actually, short term, yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you in terms of Garnacho on the right wing, but I still think Garnacho's future position is that left wing spot. But that's where he plays best, and I feel like you have Marcus Rashford left wing, which I agree with you in terms of the that is his spot, and good firing Marcus Rashford is quality.
One of the best, yeah.
Garnacho, but I think Garnacho's best position is that left wing, but Garnacho left wing, right wing, keep him for both sides. He's 19, he's fine. In 4 years' time, he's 23. In 4 years' time, he's still 3 years younger than Rashford is now.
Yeah.
Same with like Kobe Main in midfield if he plays 35 games next season.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Starts 35, plays 45, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Sweet, in 4 years' time, he's 22. He's still younger than me.
Yeah.
Literally. Like I am now.
Literally.
But I would like to see someone come in, a right wing, and a shout I have, kind of like a bit of a wildcard shout. This is purely based off watching one game the other day. Yeah. Is the Portuguese bloke, the right winger who played for Portugal yesterday. I've googled his name because I can't say it. Francisco Conceição. For the life of me, cannot say his name. He played for Portugal yesterday. He's the guy who assisted Bruno Fernandes for both of Bruno's goals. He's a left-footed right winger. I did some research into him.
Okay.
He played
Conceição.
He played about I think it was 43 games Porto the season just gone. 8 goals, 8 assists, and he looked really tidy. And then Bruno after the game was praising him, saying like he's an electric winger who's always what Bruno said after the game was Francisco had a very good game. He's an electric player, and without the ball he works a lot. In reacting to loss, so like losing possession, he's very quick and very well positioned. You can see that. You can see he's trained by his father, who cares a lot about the finer details. His dad is the Porto manager, which is a funny little extra thing. Yeah. We want players who can provide different qualities so we can complete as a group. That's him talking about Portugal. Yeah. But I was watching him. I watched a couple of his games. He's a tidy little player, and I think he's 21, right, left-footed, right winger, like playing for the Portuguese team. He's consistent in the Porto team. It's just like a little extra shout, like a little extra, like it kind of gives me like a Dallo vibe. Of like just one of them players that you sign again from Porto, but like a little gem who can grow into something nice. And I like the idea of him.
I get it.
Researching him a bit.
Slight problem though. Yeah. He's on loan to Porto.
Oh, is he? I didn't see that bit.
Do you know where from?
Oh, where is he?
Ajax. We can't sign him. We can't sign him.
But he was not. How did I miss that? But no, but he's had a really nice. He's had a really nice little, delicate little season at Porto.
No, I hate you.
But okay, fair enough.
The Eric Ten Hag links to Ajax. We can't go there again. We can't do it.
There you go. Slam dunk deal then. Slam dunk deal. But and one more thing I wanted to say before we move on to the Euro stuff is when you're talking about Rashford. There's been people, Arsenal fans, kind of slightly half jokingly saying, "Oh, we should go get Marcus Rashford." Blah blah blah. I think Arsenal sign Marcus Rashford, he wins them the league.
Bro.
You add Marcus Rashford to that team, assuming this is the Marcus Rashford last year, 30 goals, player of the year, player of the year, in the Premier League team of the year, fantastic. Like firing England Euros or like World Cup England, Rashford, all of them lot. He wins Arsenal the league. So Arsenal fans who joke about this, saying, "Oh, we should sign Marcus Rashford, go Man United." 100 million quid is how much it would cost you to sign him. So you are never signing him. And if you were to sign him, he would win you that league title. Because Arteta can't, your current wingers can't, Martinelli can't, Gabriel Jesus up front can't, Marcus Rashford could. Genuinely, I think that.
It won't happen. But I don't even want to think about a world where it happens. But when you've got trust, the thing is with Arsenal's system is their wingers will generally do well anyway. They are set up in a way which, for example, the way Ben White gets forward, that allows Saka to do a lot of the work that he does. Their wingers will do well regardless. I mean, Trossard, good player, tidy player, but he's scoring goals, getting assists for Arsenal playing on the left wing, and Marcus Rashford is 10 times the player Trossard is. Yeah, in my opinion, he is. So yeah, absolutely.
I think put Marcus Rashford in that team where he's got consistent Declan Rice, who's playing at left back for Arsenal these days. Can't remember.
It's a bit Tomiyasu sometimes. Zinchenko comes in and out. It's a bit of a mixed bag on the left back for Arsenal.
But consistent players around him and stuff.
Yeah, he's Odegaard
cooking. He cooks at the Emirates.
It's a bit saddening though, sitting here right now thinking about how good Rashford would be at Arsenal. I want to think about how good he will be.
And I am
at
a
United.
firm man. I know what happened this season has been Like,
Yeah.
it's not been good from Rashford. He's had a really bad season. But every time he's had a bad season, I think he comes back and I think he'll be good next year.
Yeah.
But Rashford wasn't selected for the Euros.
Yeah.
Whatever you may think about that, I feel like if he had gone to the Euros with England, I think he'd have been, a pivotal player for them. But, Southgate's made his choice, and I can't argue with it. Yeah. Because Rashford's not had a season that Anthony Gordon has had, all these kind of players have had, which is, I think, fair. Yeah. But with the Euros, there's some big names going to the Euros from United. You've got Bruno Fernandes, Diogo Dalot, you've got Kobbie Mainoo, Maguire. News this morning said that he might not be going through injury. Luke Shaw, I think, will be going, assuming he's all right. You've then got Højlund, Eriksen, you've got Lindelof. So I want to kind of go through a little bit of a Euros prediction. Yeah. Kind of like who's going to be, the first question I'll ask, who do you think will be the surprise package out of the United players for the Euros? Who will perform better than you think they might?
Surprise package could be someone like a Christian Eriksen, because we know the quality he has, but we think maybe he's a bit past it. But I think with international football, it's a little bit slower tempo. If you can sort of dictate the tempo of the game, you can be that kind of player. Scored a wicked goal yesterday as well for Denmark. And then Højlund put up that tweet, didn't he? He's like, when you take your dad to work, but then he outclasses you. It's a good tweet, yeah. So Christian Eriksen could be a bit of a surprise one. What do you think?
Oh, I'm going to go Højlund.
Højlund, do you reckon?
Because although us as United fans, we know he's good. I don't quite think everyone else actually quite gets what we watch at the moment. Yeah. And if Denmark have a decent tournament, because they've got a tiny little team, I can't remember who's in their group, but they've got a tiny little team. If Højlund can grab a couple goals, let's say they get round of 16, he gets 2-3 goals in the group stages, another goal. I think he's really good for Denmark. Højlund has been. Like in the Euros qualifiers, he got 6 or 7 goals.
His hat-trick against Finland was supposedly one of the things our scouts had really liked about Højlund when they first.
It was a good hat-trick as well. It was a striker's hat-trick. So I think, in terms of, although we know, us, the beautiful people that watch this podcast every week, we all know Højlund, quality striker, even right now, quality striker 100%. Who will get better. I feel like this tournament will be a package where people will kind of go, hold on. Yeah. Good player. That boy knows. Yeah. Good. Yeah. I think I'm picking him for surprise package. Okay. Then you've also got. I know there's shout out to Kobbie Mainoo who could he could start, could play, but I feel like it's too. We don't know if he will start, because as much as we can wish and say he should start, we don't know if he started. We don't know if he's going. He'll hopefully go.
No, he's going. He's going. Gareth Southgate, if you don't take Kobbie Mainoo, you should leave the job before the day the Euro starts. Come on, man.
Yeah, 100%. But Kobbie Mainoo's a shout. You've got other players like Victor Lindelof, blah, blah, blah. But, and then I'm going to go, who is going to be United's best player in the Euros? Because I'm saying this guy, Bruno Fernandes, he is on fire for Portugal. 26 goals and assists in his last 19 games.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
I saw a comment underneath one of our Instagram posts last night, basically saying he should be Portugal's guy this tournament. Shouldn't be Cristiano Ronaldo anymore. The focus should be on him, and I think it's spot on.
I think it will be. I won't be surprised if he's their leading goal scorer, by the end of it. Yeah. I really, really wouldn't be surprised. He's bagging, and because even towards his form at the end of our season was really, really good. He was bagging goals left, right, and centre. And obviously got the assist in the FA Cup final as well. Bruno Fernandes is so good, and you know what? I wish that fans that are not Man United fans would understand how good he actually is. Because I understand he loses the ball. I understand he's frustrating at times. I understand the whole whinging and all this and that. But you know what? Bernardo Silva whinges. Rodri whinges. Everyone whinges. Everyone does it. He is a real quality player. And if he was in a better side right now, he would have so many more trophies in the bag. He would get the recognition he deserves. Yeah. And I hope that this tournament is the chance for him to do it, because the World Cup, it didn't really happen for Portugal, did it? It didn't really happen for Bruno at the World Cup. So he's the one you look at and you think by the end of it he could have a good tournament.
I think if Portugal and Roberto Martinez are smart, I think despite the potential drama that could come with it, I think they need to not make him captain, but they need to make him like we did the season before last with Bruno, is they got to make Bruno the de facto leader of that Portugal team on the field. Because Cristiano Ronaldo, go and do your thing. Go and score your goals, because he probably will score your goals. Yeah. But I think, listen to this bloke. Listen to Bruno Fernandes. When push comes to shove, I feel like, I don't know if they will just because Ronaldo's, I'm Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And he's lost, I feel like he's lost some of his, like, I don't know what the right word is, but like, not respect, but like I feel like he's in the Saudi league now, he's crying over
people
coming
understand
14th or
people
something.
understand that he's not
But I
that
think
guy.
for the sake of Portugal, they've got to have him as their focal point, their main man. And I think they're in a solid shot of winning the tournament.
Thing is, with Bruno...
Their squad is awesome, by the way. Their squad is
so
stacked.
good. It's so good. It's so good. Diogo Dalot as well. He's another player who I hope he definitely secures a place in their team.
I think he has.
He should do. I mean...
Well, who else is there?
Well, the thing is, they've got
right-backs?
the three good fullbacks, not just centre right backs, but the three of them are obviously Diogo. Then you got Cancelo and Nuno Mendes from PSG.
Yeah.
If they decide Nuno Mendes, that left back spot is his, then it's Cancelo or Dalot on the right. I hope it's Cancelo on the left because we know we can invert, and Dalot on the right. And I think that's the right decision. I think that's what he will go for. But Dalot is another one a part of that squad. But with Bruno, I think it's not necessarily like you not necessarily build the team around him, but give him a bit of a free role. Put two defensively minded players behind him, put him in the 10, put Bernardo Silva out wide on the wing, so you don't have to worry about his sort of defensive duties, and he can sort of float inside anyway. Just give Bruno Fernandes that number 10 role. Let him be creative. Let him work, because in chaotic moments, Bruno is so good as well. And I just think international football, like I said, put him in the 10. Let him do his work. Let him do his magic. And he could be a really good player this tournament.
Yeah. I think Bruno Fernandes will be Man United's player of the Euros.
I hope so.
Because I think Portugal's in such a good shout of winning this thing.
Yeah, they are.
Another Euros.
But then elsewhere, so Luke Shaw we don't really know his fitness situation. We don't really know if he's going to even be available for the first game, or maybe even not even the group stages. Harry Maguire, like you said this morning, he could actually be left out of the Euros squad, which, by the way, no matter what you think about Harry Maguire, him not being there for England is a huge, huge miss.
Oh, that's a big miss.
He is Mr. Reliable for England. Even more so than Stones, I would say. He's more reliable than Stones. Defensively anyway.
Yeah.
So he would be a big, big miss. But then again, maybe it gives opportunity to some of the youngsters like Branthwaite.
I think Gueye.
Gueye's solid. Yeah,
Gueye's actually a guy, linking back to the beginning, that we didn't mention for the centre-back thing. Gueye's quality.
He is.
That Crystal Palace team, since January, has turned into fantastic. I don't know what Glasner did. I don't know how he made Mateta.
The talent was there.
Yeah, the talent was there, I guess. But Mateta was... one of my good mates, right, he's a die-hard Palace fan. Yeah. And he was always saying about Mateta, like, we as Palace fans know he's crap, but we love him because he tries. Right. And then Glasner came in and he scored 13 goals in like 12 games. Yeah. And then the hat-trick against Villa, and they decimated Villa, who finished top 4 and was pretty much sick this whole season. And 4-0 as Sir Alex Ferguson predicted. Is it 4-0 lost 5-0? Yeah, 4-0. But and then Glasner's turned Mateta into this like just gunman who's shaves his head, tucks his shirt in.
That's
like
what I was going to say.
Thierry Henry.
Tucked his shirt in, that's what happened.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know what happened to that Palace team, but they're suddenly amazing.
Talent. It's just, again, with Gueye, it's the price tag again.
The price tag is going to be nuts. They're probably going to ask like 60 mil.
Palace are going to want a lot of money. They're going to want just like Elise, just like Walton, if he was for sale this summer. But it's going to be expensive, and that's again the problem, because we don't have money. We really don't. We don't have any money. Hey, we have hopefully like 120 mil coming in. If you sell Casemiro, Sancho, Greenwood, Alvaro Fernandez is gone. A couple other sales. We can raise 120. The Sancho and Greenwood situation is complicated.
I really don't think it is. I think you just bin them.
But do Dortmund pay? Do Dortmund pay the money?
Dortmund won't, but I think someone will.
I hope you're right.
I think Green will go to Juventus. That seems where like the current.
Atletico I've heard as well, but
Atletico, but I think Juventus are the ones that are like, I think Motto actually wants him, like just from what I've read in Italian press.
First.
So I'm gonna ask 2 final questions for you.
Go.
1, who's winning the Euros? 2, where are England finishing? So start with who's winning the Euros.
You know what? For the boy, I'm gonna say Portugal. I would say for Bruno also as well. I still have a lot of love for Ronaldo. I would still love to see him, because seeing him go out the way he did at the World Cup was a bit sad. No matter what you think of Ronaldo, I still got a lot of love for him. It was bad the way it ended at United, but nonetheless, it was not nice to see. So Euros, Portugal hopefully, and then what was the second one?
England.
England.
Like, what's happening to England this tournament? Is it same as always? Quarterfinals, semi-finals.
Semi-finals.
Bottle job in the 70th minute from somebody. You think semis?
I just think Southgate just sometimes needs to just recognise that a game is there to be taken and go for it. From Southgate's side, it's far too many times been passive, in my opinion. It's just been a bit too, let's wait for something to happen, then we'll react to it. Be proactive. Put on your best attacking players, because you know what? Our best players are attacking players. Our defence is okay. It's not amazing. So just go for it. Let loose. It's your last tournament. I hope he does. But I think that's the way it goes. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm saying to win the Euros, it's going to be Portugal or France.
France is it's the
it's just, well, France has been like, how do they keep bringing up these
They've got
these
so
players,
many
man?
talents.
I don't
so many
understand
talents.
it. And every time you go, oh, maybe some people have left France. Pogba doesn't play anymore. They don't have Matuidi anymore. And you go, nah, they got Mbappe, they got Chouameni, they've got Mendy, and you're just like, they've now got Euro who's going to come in about 3-4 years time, just as Varane's leaving. It's like,
funny enough as well, Kante's back.
Oh yeah, he is, isn't he?
Kante's back, yeah.
Yeah.
See, interesting. I mean, he's always been in Saudi, so you don't really know what he's at.
Portugal versus France. Not going to lie, I feel if that's the final, I think France win that.
Yeah, they do. Someone else needs to knock out France.
Yeah,
like Switzerland did, for example.
So if France are France are my favourites. Yeah. I think if you go, so I'll say probably France.
They are the favourites, isn't it?
Yeah, they are the favourites. But I feel like they're more likely to have a random bottle than Portugal are. But they're more likely to win. I don't know.
But if it gets like a final,
Kylian
would just turn up. Kylian would just turn up. He always does for France.
Crazy Real Madrid player, crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna go France. England, I'm gonna go quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah, it's gonna be another 70th minute, as I just said, 70th minute bottle job by somebody. Someone's not gonna square it. Someone's gonna miss a pen, and they've both been Kane in previous seasons. Or like there'll be another tragic moment where Cole Palmer will mess something up, and then it'll just be chaos. And
there's selection issues for Southgate.
The one thing about Southgate, one thing I heard him say, which I like, is he said he's ditching the waistcoat because he wants a more relaxed environment. And as much as it was a weird thing to say, I quite like what he's done in terms of he's trying to say it's no longer like, you know, oh, we are England, we're going to do this for the country. It's more of like a relax, because all the players are now so young. Yeah. It's more of a, he's trying to create a bit more of a club atmosphere. I quite like.
No, yeah, that is nice. It's just the funny part of it is the fact that he's gone, the suit's gone, the waistcoat is gone, we're doing cardigans only now.
We're doing cardigans, I'm going to go down to River Island and find my summer sunglasses, the white kind of cream off-white overshirt.
Literally, and especially because it's coming from Southgate.
I know, it's a bit
Waistcoat Wednesday, Southgate.
He saw Phil Neville wear it, he's gone, oh, it's dusted now. He's not wearing it anymore. But the Euro starts next week, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm so ready for this Euros.
It's going to be a good watch.
But thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Nick, it's always a pleasure to have you. Those of you who have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Let us know your Euros predictions, who you want to see us sign in the summer, who's the ideal centre-back, who's the ideal all of this, all of that. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as I should have said at the beginning. Listen to those if you can't watch on YouTube, everything. Make sure to subscribe, like, and follow United District. Follow Nick on his socials. They'll be below in the comments. Well, not in the comments. They'll be in the description. There you go. I've done the YouTube thing long enough, man. Apart from that, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.